Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I want to talk about the absolute massive blockbuster success that is Friday Night at Freddys, right? And what this could mean for Vivek Ramaswamy and how he can leverage Friday Night at Freddys to win the 2024 U.S. presidential election. All right, let's get into it. So first, before I go a step further, massive, full spoilers for Friday Night at Freddys. And the reason why is I don't talk about movies one-cheeked. It's both cheeks, baby. Full spoilers here. All right, you've been warned. Let's go. All right. Holy guacamole, man. Friday Night at Freddys absolutely stomped the box office. It dropped the mic on blockbuster success, right? And it did it brilliantly, okay? So it's $78 million opening. $78 million. That is huge for a movie that costs nothing. This thing was dirt cheap, right? And you know that because it's Blumhouse, right? Blumhouse don't spend unless it's Exorcist, right? Which, let's pay $400 million for a garbage film. Right? Like, it happens every now and then. And you know what? I don't want to be too harsh on Blumhouse. They took a swing. They tried to get a big franchise. And the reality is it may work out. The first one was absolute garbage film by everything I've been told. I did not see it. I didn't even waste my time. I watched the trailer. I'm like, that's going to suck. And I was right. Every reviewer panned it and just moved on, right? And so, but they're going to get a trilogy out of this. I think they own the thing, lock, stock, and barrel, for $400 million. But trust and believe, Friday Night at Freddys, the star power is very affordable. Okay, like no A-list stars in this, unfortunately. Right, and actually, fortunately, because it actually crushed, and it crushed it at the box office, and it was massively successful. Okay, but it's American entertainment, and if you're here, you understand. I have a different take on American entertainment. I believe American entertainment has replaced American steel, and it's time for the Republican Party to come in and massively regulate Hollywood through a Department of Hollywood, and I want Vivek Ramaswamy to begin talking today, right, about the Department of Hollywood that he would establish on day one and move into massive regulation of Hollywood through the Republican Party, right? And so with that said, right, one of the things that, and I also think that everything American people care about is in American entertainment, right? And so the reality is this was a perfect success, right? So I don't think there's anything. The Department of Hollywood would not need to fix any issues with this film or with how it's being pursued, right? Like this would get a pass, right? Like Vivek Ramaswamy's Department of Hollywood would not need to step in and fix anything, right? But so where is the opportunity for Vivek Ramaswamy right now with Friday Nights at Freddys? So first of all, Vivek Ramaswamy should be seeing every single film that is released and that is announced by Grace Randolph that will be released in the next week. What's Grace Randolph? Well, she's the best reviewer in the world, and she tells you what movies are coming up in the next week, and they go through a criteria. And she doesn't mention trash. She just talks about the stuff that matters, right? So if he goes and he sees every movie that Grace Randolph reports for coming up, he could start to speak to Americans about the things they care about. Mike Pence just dropped out of the race. You know why? He doesn't talk about anything Americans care about. Oh, corn prices are 7% higher, blah, 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 blah. Bye, right? Like, you don't know what the American people care about. You suck, gone, thank you, right? Next, right? And that's a big deal because that means Vivek Ramaswamy just beat the guy that was the vice president to Donald Trump. And guess what? Donald Trump is on his way out too. That sucker does not show up for debates because he cannot debate, right? In 2016, he showed up and he defeated everyone on the floor. Now he doesn't show up because he can't defeat anyone on the floor because he has no courage and no capability, right? Like, we're there now, right? We all know Donald Trump can't even finish a hard conversation, let alone rule for 4 years. Right? He's no longer capable. He's no longer courageous. Thank you. Next. And the next is Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay? So Vivek Ramaswamy should be doing what I do. Go see every major film every week. Regal the Regal Pass is like $24. It's not expensive, right? And so, but even if it is expensive, it doesn't matter because Vivek is rolling on dubs. He's got plenty of money from his campaign, and he is effortlessly moving from debate to debate to debate. And I need you guys to understand: if you ain't into debate, you don't matter, and that means no one on the Democrat side matters. And Donald Trump certainly does not matter. If you've told the American people that you cannot finish a hard conversation, you certainly aren't capable of finishing 4 years of leadership, right? And I think we all know that, and Republicans definitely know that because we're merit-based, right? It's not feelings on this side, right? That's for the Democrats, right? Right? So if our guy can't do a hard conversation, don't vote for him, right? And if you do want to vote for him, don't call yourself a Republican. You're a Trumper. They're two different things. Right? There's a heritage on our side. You guys are just a bunch of schmuck prejudiced people, right? Like, Trumpers are not real Republicans. Let's all keep that clear. All right, let's go. All right, Vivek Ramaswamy and Friday Nights at Freddys. So Friday Nights at Freddys is a fantastic film, and the heart of the film is this gentleman, Mike. He's the security guard who's assigned to work at Freddy Fazbear's, right? And he has a sister who's, I think, 7 years old, right? Maybe 8. Yeah, let's say 8. So she's 8 years old, and his sister, he is tasked with her guardianship, and the reason why is their parents died. Actually, the mother died. The father, here's exactly what happened. His brother Garrett, Mike and Abby's little brother Garrett, was abducted and then never found. Right. The father broke under the pressure of that trial, and the mother died, right? So now Mike is Abby's guardian, okay? Now Mike is struggling to keep a job, and so he gets a job as a security guard at Freddy Fazbear's, right? But this is a major issue in the film. He ends up taking Abby to work, and the reason why is Freddy Fazbear's security guard does not pay well, right? At all, right? So the reason why, so he has to take Abby to his workplace, which is incredibly unsafe, right? And why is it unsafe? I told you, spoilers, because ghost children are controlling giant robots in Freddy Fazbear's. There you go. That's the reason it's crazy dangerous, right? So he ends up bringing his little sister to Freddy Fazbear's, right? So here we see a situation which Republicans should be highly concerned with, and Vivek Ramaswamy should be highly concerned with. What's happening in the film actually very much happens in real life. A single parent, right? Now, he's a single guardian, but we're going to put single parent because he is responsible for a child, right? So a little bit of a navigation there, but we'll, single guardian, but we're gonna say single parent because it's the same situation, right? So single parent has a low-paying job and wants to work and is ready to work and is willing to work, but does not have daycare for their child, so they end up taking their child to a workplace. Taking a child to any workplace, in my opinion, is completely not appropriate, right? So if you're in a situation where you have to do that, right, you need childcare. Well, this job does not pay enough for him to get childcare, so he cannot get childcare, right? So at this point, that's where the Republicans step in, right? So Vivek Ramaswamy, seeing this film, would understand, oh my gosh, there's a whole bunch of single parents that need childcare. What are the Republicans going to do to fix that problem? And trust and believe the Democrats have not fixed this problem. Democrats have not created Democrat daycare, right? It doesn't exist, right? And the reason why is that? Well, I'm going to give you my humble opinion. Here you go. Democrats don't like kids at all, right? You want me to prove that to you? Here we go, step by step. Let's go, all right? First of all, their number one policy, the number one love it Democrat policy, make sure there are less children at the tune of about 60 million since 1974, right? So you can't really be a party that's like, we really don't like kids. In fact, we've made sure that there are 60 million less of them, right? Like, and they'd be like, oh, we want your child to be cared for. No, you don't. You don't even want them to exist, right? So that's super clear, okay? The next one is, what's their number 2 policy? Environmentalism. What is the largest carbon footprint that can be made? A child. Right, there you go, right? If you have a child, they're going to have a massive environmental footprint. Again, Democrats don't want carbon footprints, right? So where we land is we fully understand that Democrats are the number one party for let's not have kids. Let's have less kids across the nation. Democrats do not like children, right? So Democrats are never going to make Democrat daycare because they don't even like kids, right? Like, they don't care. They do not care if children are cared for, right? They don't even want them here, like, period, right? And they've been incredibly successful in making sure that a lot of them aren't here, right? Like, massively successful, right? At a scale that has never been seen on the planet, right? Like, yeah. So there you go. Democrats do not like children. That's just my humble opinion. I've given you the evidence that leads me to that opinion. All right, here we go. Republican daycare doesn't exist, but Vivek Ramaswamy can make it. So what? Because he saw Friday Night at Freddys, which clearly demonstrates this need. Right? Can't be taking kids to a workplace. It's not healthy for them. It doesn't allow the worker to work. It's not good, right? And they could get abducted by giant robots that are controlled by ghost children, right? Like, you don't want that. And who wants that, right? Like, so of course there are different occupational hazards for why you wouldn't want to get, but that's a good one, right? Like, and it's entertaining, right? And that's the issue, right? Right. This is why Mike Pence dropped out, right? Because blah blah blah, TPA report, 7% corn yield, blah 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 blah. All that matters is American entertainment. Our truth no longer exists in our journalism. It no longer exists in our science. It no longer exists in our news. Our truth is in our entertainment, right? And the truth that good, honest American citizens who want to work but can't because they cannot get daycare exists in Friday Night at Freddys. Right? It doesn't exist on CNN. No science report is going to tell you that, right? No, you're not going to read it clearly in history. Because truth no longer exists in science, history, or news. Truth exists in American entertainment. And frankly, in the secular world, nowhere else. Nowhere else. Okay? All right, let's get all the way there. All right. So what is Republican daycare? Here's what. So first and foremost, the government pays for 1/3 of it. The local corporations all the way up to global corporations. And I did say global corporations pays for 2/3, okay? We're going to fully fund it. It's going to be super safe. It's going to be fun for the children. It's going to be beneficial for the parents. It's going to be extremely well monitored, right? Well provisioned and solid. And the way it's going to be funded is first, corporations stand up and say, man, we've been on this ESG grind forever, man. Can you give us something that people actually care about? Right? Like, we're supposed to get people excited about our company because we, embraced green, right? Give us something that people care about. People care about their kids, right? And if a corporation can step in and say, I'm giving you this, and then the government can say, hey, 1 year, look at this. These kids were well cared for, and all of these parents, and literally put their pictures up, let them give consent, but put their pictures up and say, this year, this young man, this young woman was able to work 2,000 hours, was able to put food on the table, maybe even save enough for a new car, right? And that came because XYZ Corporation stepped up, paid for 2/3 of the sound, safe, successful care of this child, and then the government matched with 1/3. Right? And we're going to celebrate this corporation because they're doing something real, they're doing something necessary, and they're doing something helpful, right? Something real, right? And that's important. That's real, right? And that's Republican daycare. You get the corporations in first, you herald them as heroes for doing something that's actually heroic, that actually helps the planet, right? and you let Americans who need and want to work while their children are safe and well cared for, right? That's Republican daycare, right? And Republicans can do it because Republicans legitimately love children. That's why they overturned Roe v. Wade in the last 4 years, right? They actually want children to be on this earth, right? There you go. Like, end of debate, right? Like, if it's not clear, it should be clear now, right? So to me, that is so I think there is strong political speech in Blumhouse's Friday Night at Freddys, and it says, hey, if you're an American and you want to work, you should get safe daycare. And it is a cautionary tale for Republican daycare, in my humble opinion. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.